Hello friends, now we are going to take one question from May 2022 RTP. This is question number 1 of May 2022 RTP. So those who have this May 22 RTP, keep in front of you. I'll show you the question also. This is a new question which we have not covered earlier. This question is based on short selling. Okay, so we'll solve this question in the class. There is a small mistake in the institute answer also, so that also we will discuss, right? So the question is on the screen. Question is, Mr. A is holding 1000 share of the face value of rupees 100 each of Messrs. ABC Limited. He wants to hold these shares for long term and have no intention to sell. So right now Mr. A is holding 1000 share of 100 rupees each. So the value of his share is 1 lakh rupees. The value of his share, face value you can say, is 1 lakh rupees. He wants to hold this share for long term and have no intention to sell. On 1st January 2020, Mr. XYZ has made short sale. Another party, Messrs. XYZ, has made a short sale of Messrs. ABC Limited share and approached to Mr. A to lend the share under the stock lending scheme with the following terms. So what is short sale? We have covered in the class. There is a party, Messrs. XYZ. There is a party, Mr. A, and there is a company, Messrs. ABC Limited share. So Mr. A will lend the shares to Messrs. XYZ, and Messrs. XYZ will short sell the shares. The objective of Messrs. XYZ is, if the price falls, later on they can purchase and return the shares to Mr. A and make profit. And the benefit to Mr. A is, he will get stock lending charges. In any case, he has no intention to sell. Shares are going to lie idle in his account. Therefore, Mr. A will earn some stock lending charges. Messrs. XYZ will benefit if the price of the share falls. Messrs. XYZ would lose if the price of the share goes up. So let us see what happens. Shares are to be borrowed for 3 months from 1st January 2020 to 31st March 2020. Lending charges or fees will be 1% to be paid every month on the underlying closing price of the stock quoted in the exchange. So lending charges is 1% based on closing price. So these are the closing prices given to you. These are the closing prices. Every month you have to take 1% of this as lending charges. Lending charges will be cost to the short seller, and lending charges will be income for Mr. A, the one who has lent the shares. The bank guarantee will be provided as a collateral for the value on 1/1/2020, and Messrs. XYZ, the one who does the short selling, will have to give bank guarantee, and there is a cost of bank guarantee. So who is going to bear the cost of bank guarantee? Messrs. XYZ. So this will be a cost to Messrs. XYZ. Bank guarantee commission will be a cost to Messrs. XYZ, and that is how the stock can be sold short. This is how stock lending scheme works. Okay, and what is the cost of bank guarantee? The cost of bank guarantee is 8% per annum into 3/12 into the value of the shares on 1st January 2020. If you see below, the value of the share on 1st January 2020 is 1000 rupees. So this will be the stock lending charges per share, 8% into 3 by 12 into 1000 into number of share, and the number of shares are also 1000. So you'll have to multiply by 1000 to calculate the stock lending, the bank guarantee charges. Bank guarantee charge is an expense to Messrs XYZ, income of the bank, not the income of Mr. A. So this will be treated as expense of Messrs XYZ. Okay. And then on 29th March 2020, Messrs ABC Limited declared dividend of 25%. So one more adjustment. In your original RTP, this is not printed. Later on, Institute has rectified it. So in case if in your RTP it is not printed, kindly note it down. On 29th March 2020, ABC Limited declared dividend of 25%. Declared dividend of 25%. Dividend will be on face value. So what is the relevance of this? The short seller will compensate. Short seller will compensate Mr. A for the loss of dividend. Will compensate Mr. A for the loss of dividend. So this will be income for Mr. A and it will be cost to short seller Messrs XYZ. Now they have given share prices on various date. Two scenarios they have given, scenario 1 and scenario 2, bullish. This they have wrongly treated as bullish. It should be bearish, because if you see the prices are going down. So there is a mistake in the question. So mistake is that they have written bullish in both column. It should be bearish. This is the price at the beginning. On 1/1/2020, Mr. A is holding 1000 share. So the market value of his share is 10 lakh rupees. This will be required for calculation of bank guarantee also. Okay. And these are the prices on different dates. This will be required for calculating the stock lending charges, plus this last price, that is after 3 months, whatever is the price, that will be required for calculating the gain or loss of short seller also. Is it right? So this is the data. Now what is the question? Question number 1, you are required to find out the earnings of Mr. A through stock lending scheme in both the scenario. Earnings of Mr. A through stock lending scheme. So how much stock lending charges he will earn? How much stock lending charges he will earn? That is very simple. You just have to multiply by 1% of the share prices. Can you see share prices here? You have to multiply by 1%. That will be the income from stock lending. And total earning of Mr. A during 1/1/2020 to 31st March in both the scenario. So total earning will be dividend income, stock lending charges, and the appreciation or decline in share price Our institute has considered these two. They have not considered this. This should also have been considered. So there is a slight small mistake in the answer of the institute, but we will discuss that. And then the question is from the short seller's point of view, that what is the profit or loss to Messrs XYZ by shorting the shares through stock lending scheme in both the scenarios. So what we will do, first we will solve these two questions. This is from Mr. A's point of view. This we can solve in one table only. I have to find first stock lending charge dividend, that will give you total earning, right? So those who are interested, write down in the notebook. Others can check the answer in the RTP May 2022. This was question number 1. So first step is we'll find out the earnings of Mr. A through stock lending scheme, earnings of Mr. A through stock lending scheme and total earnings, right? So both the answer, part 1 and part 2 in the same table. Right hand side we have two columns, scenario 1, scenario 2. So first we'll find out lending fees received. Lending fees will be received at the end of the month, which is 1% of the price of the share. So first we write down 31st March, 31st January 2020, 31/1/2020. In scenario 1, the price is 1020 into 1%, 10.20. In scenario 2, 980 into 1%, try 9.8. Then next month, 29th February 2020, price is 1040 into 1%, that will be 10.40, and 960 into 1%, 9.60. Continuously write. 31st March 2020, very easy. 1050 into 1%, that is 10.50, 940 into 1%, 9.40. So if you take the total now, this will give you total earning from lending per share, because I have not yet multiplied by 1000. So per share my stock lending fees earned is, add these three numbers, 31.10. Again try, add these three numbers, you are getting 28.80. This is per share under two scenarios. And how many shares have been lent? 1000 shares have been lent. So total earnings from 1000 shares. Total earnings from 1000 shares. Just multiply 31.10 into 1000. So the first answer is over, 31,100, 28,800. If only this is the question, this is the answer for earning income through stock lending scheme. This is your answer. But in addition to that, there is another question which says total earning. Any dividend paid by the company will be compensated by short seller to Mr. A. Okay. So now you write down next line, point number C, dividend per share. Dividend is 25 rupees per share. So total dividend will be on 1000 share 25,000. Total dividend will be 25,000. You assume face value is 100 rupees. Okay. Institute in the original question had not mentioned what will be dividend per share, but in the corrigendum they have issued, they have mentioned it. So take dividend per share 25. So my total earning of Mr. A, write down total earning of Mr. A before price appreciation, because institute has not considered the price appreciation, but we need to consider that also to get total earning. If you are holder of a share, your earning will also include any appreciation in the value of the share. So right now, before considering price appreciation, your earning is B plus D. 31,100 is stock lending fees, 25,000 is dividend, 56,100, 28,800 plus 25,000 is 53,800 is 53,800. But you also add one more thing. This is ICI answer, but then we have to also add appreciation or decline in share price. This will give you accurate answer. When Mr. A had purchased the share, price was 1000 rupees on 1st January. On 31st March, the price is 1050 in scenario 1. So in scenario 1, the gain is 1000 share into 1050 minus 1000. So I will add 50,000 here. In scenario 2, 1000 share, but there is a loss. The price is 940 now. So 940 minus 1000. There is a loss of 60,000 rupees here because the price has gone down. So finally, last line, this is not written in the material. That is why I said note down the answer. Total earning after price change, after considering price change. So now you add these two also, 56,100 plus 50,000 is 1,06,100. But in second case, you have a loss 53,800 minus 60,000. There is a loss of 6,200. There is a loss of 6,200. Okay. So this is my first and second answer. Next question is from short seller's point of view. Understand, from short seller's point of view, he will have to pay this stock lending charges, that is his expense. He will have to compensate dividend. Okay. And then he will have to also enjoy or suffer the appreciation or depreciation in the price. And one more thing, he will have to pay bank guarantee charges also to the bank. So for the short seller, these three will be considered. In addition to that, the bank guarantee charges will also be considered. So now you see on the screen 31.10 plus 25 we have already calculated here, which the short seller will have to pay to the lender of the shares, and plus gain or loss we will consider. Okay, so I hope you are ready. Write down profit or loss to Messrs. XYZ. Profit or loss to Messrs. XYZ by shorting the shares, through stock lending scheme. By shorting the shares through the stock lending scheme. By shorting the shares through the stock lending scheme. So first you write down gain or loss on shorting the share, gain or loss on shorting the share per share, gain or loss on shorting the share per share is 50 rupees, and 50 rupees is loss because the price has gone up, and here the price has gone down, so 60 rupees gain. In case of short seller, profit is made if the price goes down. loss will be suffered if the price goes up. Then lending fees paid we have already calculated. Lending fees paid we have already calculated. 31.10, 28.8. 31.10 and 28.8. Then bank guarantee charges. Bank guarantee charges, it is based on price at the beginning at the rate of 8% for 3 months. So 20 and 20 rupees. This is based on 1000 rupees. So all these calculations are per share. Okay, so take the total now. Gain or loss per share. Gain or loss per share. In the first scenario, 10.10. And 11.20. 10.10 and 11.20. Total gain or loss on 1000 shares, multiply 10.10 into 1000, 1,01,100, and 11.20 into 1000, 11.20 into 1000. Now wait a minute, there is a small calculation error, typing error here. This should have been 101.10. Okay, this point number D, the total gain or loss per share is 101.10. Point F, write down. Dividend compensation paid to Mr. A, 25,000. So point number G, net gain or loss. So in first case you have 1,01,100 and 25,000. The total loss will be 1,26,100. And in second case, the total loss will be 13,800. So this was a very important question on short selling. Okay, this is a very important question for short selling, and it is applicable for all the exams to come. I hope you enjoyed. Thank you very much. Hello friends, we are going to take one important question now from RTP May 2020, and this is again a little new type of question. So you will open RTP May 2022 question number 8. Okay, and there is a small new thing that you are going to learn with this example. So I'll first present the question before you. Similar question we have done in the class, but there is one additional learning that will happen in this question. So please come to question number 8, RTP May 2022. Question is, a US investor choose to invest in Sensex for a period of 1 year. US investor means he will bring dollar and convert into rupees, and the time is 1 year. The relevant information is given below. Investment size is given in dollar. pay attention, investment size is $20 lakh, and 1 year ago when he had invested, the exchange rate rupees per dollar was 42.50 buying rate, 42.60 selling rate. Today, after 1 year, the rate is 43.85 buying rate, 43.90 selling rate. Sensex when he bought was 3256, and Sensex today has gone up 3765. So you will recollect we have similar questions in the class. Inflation in USA is 5%, India 9%. First question is very easy, school level question. Compute the nominal rate of return to the US investor. What is the rate of return earned by the US investor? So that is very easy. He has invested 20 lakh, and when he had invested, the rate was 42.50 buying rate and 42.60 selling rate. He will convert dollar into rupees. So he will sell dollar, bank will buy dollar. So this will be his investment amount. And that time the Sensex was 3256. Now the Sensex is 3765. So we will assume proportionate appreciation in the value of investment. Proportionate appreciation in the value of investment. So we can find out what is the value of investment now in rupee, and then he will take that rupee back to his country. So we'll have to convert into dollar now. He will convert rupee into dollar after 1 year. Bank will sell him dollar at this rate. We will be able to calculate what is the amount received in dollar after 1 year. Compare that with initial investment of 20 lakh dollar. The difference divided by 20 lakh is the rate of return earned by the US investor. Very easy school level question. Doesn't require extraordinary knowledge. This is a new question, write down. The question is, what is the real? Real means excluding the effect of inflation. Real means excluding effect of inflation. The question gives you some inflation rate. If inflation was not there, what was the real appreciation or depreciation underlined in rupees they are asking, not in dollar. If you look at the rate given, it is given in direct quote form. That is, the rate is given for dollar. Okay. But they are asking you the appreciation or depreciation in rupees. So appreciation or depreciation we have learnt in the class how to get it. What is the rate now minus what was the rate earlier, compare them. That gives you by what percentage a currency has appreciated or depreciated. Then the next question is, what should be the exchange rate if the relevant purchasing power parity hold? So purchasing power parity theorem you have to apply. 1 plus inflation rate in domestic country upon 1 plus inflation rate in foreign country is equal to forward rate or divided by spot rate. Instead of forward rate, it is now, and spot rate means earlier. So by using this equation, we can find out what should have been the value of exchange rate if PPPT holds true. Bonus marks. Just apply the formula and you will get the answer. And next question, what is the real return to an Indian investor in the Sensex? So if I just look at the Sensex, the difference divided by opening value will give you nominal rate of return. and if I remove the effect of inflation from that, that will give me real return to the Indian investor. Similar questions were covered in the class. 2 questions or 3 questions were covered on similar lines. Okay. So first answer first, what is the nominal rate of return to the US investor? So that's a very easy question. Write down, just follow me. There is a small error in the institute answer. I will tell you that also. Part 1 of the answer is calculation of nominal rate of return to the US investor. Nominal rate of return to the US investor. Right hand side amount. First point A, investment in USD. Given in the question, first paragraph, 20 lakh dollar. And what I'll do, I'll convert into rupees by applying the buying rate on that date. So write down investment in INR, 20 lakhs into 42.50. Give me the answer. 20 lakh into 42.50. It is 8 crore 50 lakh. When the amount was invested, Sensex at that time, Sensex at T0, time 0 was 3256, and after 1 year Sensex at T1 is 3756. So what we'll assume, this amount will appreciate proportionately. The way Sensex has appreciated, the investment will also appreciate proportionately. So point number E would be value of investment at T1 in INR. Value of investment at T1 in INR. Calculate 8 crore 50 lakh, divide by 3256, multiplied by 3756. So approximately you will get this answer. Some minor difference in the last 2 or 3 digits is okay. 982,85325, minor difference is possible here. Then write down exchange rate. Exchange rate at T1. Exchange rate today. We will apply sale rate. We will apply selling rate 43.90. Now rupee has to be converted into dollar. So bank will sell dollar. We will convert into dollar. We will convert into dollar. Next point, write down amount received in dollar. E divided by F. Continue. E divided by F. Check the answer. 2238846. Now you will understand, this is what I got after 1 year, and this is 20 lakh we have invested a year ago. Compare these two. So there is a gain, and this is the nominal rate of return to the US investor. So write down nominal rate of return to the US investor. Nominal rate of return to the US investor. 2238,846. That is the value of investment now in dollar, minus 20 lakh. That was the value a year back, and divide by 20 lakh. Divide by 20 lakh. So that comes to 11.94%. So this is your first answer. Similar question already covered in the class. And this is a very basic question. Anybody can do it. Now the important question is part 2. Write down part 2, answer of part 2. Real appreciation or depreciation of rupee. Real appreciation or depreciation of rupee. Okay. In the question, if you see, they have given you spot rate now. Question, if you see spot rate now, write down given spot rate now. I am changing the presentation of this answer because institute answer is very brief and there is a minor error also. So good student will note down so that he will understand the logic also. You are given in the question spot rate now. Now means after 1 year from the date of investment, rupees per dollar, 43.85 buying rate and 43.90 selling rate. Now they have not clearly mentioned in the question whether they want appreciation or depreciation in buying rate or ask rate. So what we'll do, we will assume that based on institute's answer that they are interested in understanding the appreciation or depreciation in bid rate, although you can apply the same logic to ask rate also. So I will solve for bid rate. Interested students can do the same thing for ask rate on your own. Why we have taken bid rate? Because institute has taken bid rate. Now this question is, if the exchange rate is given to you today, is it including inflation or excluding inflation? My question to all of you is it including inflation in both countries or not? Is it including inflation in both countries or not? So the exchange rate given to you always is after considering the effect of inflation. That means the rates have moved keeping in mind the inflation in two countries. So we have to find out if there was no inflation. If there was no inflation, suppose inflation is zero in both countries, then what would have been the exchange rate? Okay, so write a note. This is for understanding, otherwise you will not be able to understand this answer. Institute has not cared to explain this, they have only given the answer directly. So you write down the given rate is inclusive of inflation. The given rate is inclusive of inflation. We will find out what would be exchange rate. We will find out what would be exchange rate if there would have been no inflation. We will find out what would be exchange rate if there would have been no inflation. What would be exchange rate if there would have been no inflation? Okay. So now I will take the help of PPPT. We have to learn reverse working now. This is after including inflation. So if there is no inflation, what would be the exchange rate? Okay, so we have learnt in PPPT, purchasing power parity theorem, which relates exchange rate and inflation rate. What is the formula you have learned? 1 plus inflation in domestic country upon 1 plus inflation in foreign country equal to F by S. Exchange rate now, F means exchange rate now and S means exchange rate 1 year ago. Exchange rate 1 year ago. So we are given this number. We are given these two numbers. So if there was no inflation, this is including inflation. If there was no inflation, what would have been the rate? So what I'll do, I will try to find out this missing figure. Okay, that is without inflation, what would have been the rate? So I need to find out this figure in this equation that will give me exchange rate without inflation. Right. 1 plus id upon 1 plus if equal to f by s. So I need to find the value of s, that is if there was no inflation, how much should be the rate. S equal to cross multiply f into 1 plus id it should be if divided by id, it will reverse. Okay, if divided by id, there is a small typing error. I will write again 1 plus if upon 1 plus id. This is what we have to write. So now solve it. After solving this, we are getting 42.24. 42.24. Okay, and the exchange rate at the beginning was 42.50 rupees per dollar, and in the absence of inflation, it is 42.24. So tell me quickly, if there was no inflation, forget inflation, if the rate is moving down from 42.50 to 42.24, what has happened? Dollar has depreciated and rupee has appreciated. Dollar has depreciated and rupee has appreciated. So this difference gives me the appreciation or depreciation in real terms, that is called real exchange rate. So next line write down neatly. You have to remember and present also in the exam. Today you will write down, tomorrow you will revise and then appear for the exam. Notes are very important. In your own handwriting, if you write, always useful. Next line, exchange rate 1 year ago was rupees 42.50 per dollar. Exchange rate 1 year ago was rupees 42.50 per dollar. Okay. This means in real terms means in bracket, had there been no inflation, rupee has appreciated. In real terms, rupee has appreciated. If there was no inflation, rupee had appreciated. So the real appreciation of rupee will be, now remember we have discussed in your batch, if direct quote is given, then for dollar, the formula for appreciation is F minus S by S. But for rupee, the formula will become S minus F upon F to find out the appreciation or depreciation in rupees. Okay, for dollar, if they would have asked, this is the formula. But for rupee, if they ask, the formula we have discussed in the basics of Forex and we have proved it also. Okay, so we'll use this formula, real appreciation of rupee S minus F by F. So rate given to you in the question 42.50. This is real exchange rate in the absence of inflation, 42.24 divided by 42.24. Now institute has made a small mistake here. They have divided by 42.50, whereas the correct formula is to divide by F, discussed in your basics chapter solve it. You will get 0.6155%. 0.6155%. I have written a note for you. Later on, if you compare our answer with institute answer, there is small difference here. So you follow this. Note, write down. Institute has taken rupees 42.50 per dollar. Institute have taken rupees 42.50 per dollar in the denominator. Here they have taken 42.50, which is incorrect. Underline, which is incorrect. Now, in suppose one extra thing I am discussing here, if they would have asked for dollar depreciation, this is beyond the question. Suppose in your exam they change the question and say dollar depreciation, then the formula would be F minus S upon S, F minus S upon S, and your answer would have been 42.24 minus 42.50 divided by 42.50. If they ask for dollar depreciation, then this would be the answer. Approximately same, but not 100% same, because of the base effect. The base number is different, and therefore your answer would be also different. So if I go by this, the answer is 0.6117%. Minus sign indicates depreciation in dollar. So this was something important. First you find out the real rate and then use that for appreciation and depreciation. Next part of this question is, what will be exchange rate if PPPT holds true? Write down. Exchange rate if PPPT holds true. As per PPPT, 1 plus ID upon 1 plus IF equal to F by S. F means you have to find now, S means it was 1 year ago. They have not mentioned whether I need to find for bid rate or ask rate, but this is simple. So what I can do, I can solve for bid rate and ask rate both. Easy, not at all difficult. Ready? Write down. So I need to find out what will be forward rate. I need to find out this. This is my question mark. So forward rate is equal to spot rate cross multiply into 1 plus ID upon 1 plus IF. So for buying rate, spot buying rate is 42.50. Check the question. Into 1.09 divided by 1.05. So that is 44.12 rupees per dollar. And selling rate, similarly find selling rate. In the question you are given exchange rate 1 year ago, 42.60 into 1.09 divided by 1.05. Check the answer, 44.22 rupees per dollar. Therefore the final you will present like this. Exchange rate would have been 44.12 dash 44.22 rupees per dollar. So if PPPT holds true, this should have been the exchange rate today. There is one more question, that what is the real return to Indian investor in Sensex? Now there is no role of exchange rate here, because you are an Indian investor, you are investing in Sensex. So first we'll find out nominal return by just comparing the opening and closing index, and then we will remove the inflation effect, and we'll get the real return. So write down step 1. Step 1, write down nominal return to Indian investor. Nominal return to Indian investor. Just compare closing and opening Sensex. Divide by opening Sensex. 3765 minus 3256. Divide by 3256 into 100. Check. Anybody? Answer. Come on, fast. 15.63. Very good. And then step 2 is real return to Indian investor. Real return to the Indian investor. The formula is 1 plus nominal return 1 plus nominal return upon 1 plus inflation rate minus 1. 1 plus nominal return 1 plus 0.1563. This is the nominal return upon 1 plus inflation rate. Inflation rate is 9% in India. Minus 1. Solve it. The answer is, check the answer. Approximately check 6.08%. Are you getting 6.08%? You're right. So this is the answer of this very important question. Do it properly, revise it, and it can be asked in your exam. So thank you very much.